how much better can the Bucs offense be after a true offseason, Kyle?
Probably significantly better, and I would look to one of their tools. You know, we were talking yesterday about Antonio Brown, and Tom said something. He said, he had 45 catches. I was like, can that be right?
8 games.
8 games.
Sounded crazy when he said it.
But I'm like, well, Tom knows his stuff. I'm sure he's right. But then I had to Google, and I'm like, sure enough, he had 45 catches. And yet, I bring it up because I feel like he was still untapped. He just showed up, did his Antonio Brown thing, and the numbers are there. And then he has a touchdown against Washington in the playoffs. He has a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And yet there was still this feeling of, but when Scotty Miller's on the field, the offense is more electric. It goes downfield more. I don't know if they're going to bring him back, but I think it says a lot of interesting things about how this team is built. Antonio Brown was there because the GM Tom Brady wanted him there. And he's kind of like Tom Brady's little binky. Like Tom Brady loves him. I don't know if Jason Light, Bruce Arians was on record that he didn't want them there. And yet Brady shows up, I want this guy, it makes it happen. So now do they come back? Did the team say it was worked out well enough with those 45 quiet catches, we actually scratched him a new contract? And does Brady say he's not going anywhere? It's one of the most intriguing names, not only with the Bucs, but with the whole league right now. And if he comes back and he's Antonio Brown, yeah, they can be better.
I'll keep this wide receiver talk going. I'm looking at Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. How good can they be? I feel like they were just scratching the surface as a duo. We forget that at the beginning of the season, it was Mike Evans who really didn't ball out crazy. I believe the first 6 out of the 8 games, he had under 60 yards. And for him to be a number 1 wide receiver, I know he was probably thinking, I can't wait to get going. Chris Godwin, on the other end, he started dealing with injuries towards the middle of the season. He missed about 4 or 5 games. But then week 11 on, they had 14 TDs. And this group, the fact that Mike Evans is around because he's the number 1, he's already paid, and they convinced Chris Godwin to say, you know what, I'll stay here because it's the best fit for me. This duo right here, I believe they're going to be the best in the league going into next season with another year with Tom Brady.
My question isn't how much better can they get. It's just, can they be as good as they were down the stretch earlier next season?
Exactly.
Everybody focuses on those first 5 games, culminating with the infamous Tom Brady not knowing how many, what down it was situation there. But really, you look all the way to the bye. For the first 12 games, they were not the same offense. I talked to people within the league, people who knew Tom Brady, who were just saying, what are the Bucs doing? They're not playing to his strengths. They're not just allowing him to distribute the football quickly. They're trying to push it downfield. It's not really working. Well, whatever clicked, if it was Bruce Arians, Tom Brady going and playing golf together and sorting this thing out, they performed at a completely different level down the stretch, put up big-time numbers. If they can capture that from the early part of the next season, watch out, because we've seen how good they can be.
And they're essentially bringing back their defense as well. And I'll keep reminding everyone, Jason Pierre-Paul told me he played at 70% this season, had the surgery after the Super Bowl, and plans to be at 100% next year, as he texted me. Now that's scary. It is kind of scary when you think about what they could do.